Hi, my name is Natalie Williams, and I chose neurotransmitters as my favorite brain part. I chose neurotransmitters because they are so vital in the inner workings of the brain. Every emotion, memory, movement, or decision depends on these small chemical signals. So what are neurotransmitters? Neurotransmitters are chemicals that allow neurons to communicate across synapses. Neurotransmitters are released from presynaptic neurons, then they cross the synapse, and then bind to receptors on the postsynaptic neuron. This entire process controls whether the next neuron fires or not. It is important to note that neurotransmitters can be either excitatory or inhibitory. Some important neurotransmitters include dopamine, serotonin, GABA, glutamate, acetylcholine, and norepinephrine. I will start with dopamine. Often referred to as the reward neurotransmitter, dopamine has even more uses. Aside from its work in the reward center of the brain, dopamine is also involved in motivation, reinforcement learning, and movement control. In fact, too little dopamine in the brain has been associated with Parkinson's disease, and too much dopamine has been associated with schizophrenia and addiction. Dopamine neurons in the midbrain project to the basal ganglia, the limbic system, and the frontal lobes of the cerebral cortex. These systems appear to participate in motor control, reward, and the planning of behavior as shown in this graphic. Next is serotonin. Serotonin helps regulate your mood, sleep, appetite, and overall emotional stability. Low levels of serotonin are linked to depression and anxiety, which is why many antidepressants are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs, because they work by blocking the serotonin reuptake, so more serotonin stays in the synapse. The synthesis of serotonin begins with the amino acid tryptophan. Tryptophan is obtained from dietary sources, including grains, meat, and dairy products. This graph shows the synthesis of serotonin. Next is GABA. GABA is the main inhibitory neurotransmitter involving as many as 40% of the synapses in the central nervous system. GABA is synthesized from glutamate through the action of the enzyme glutamic acid decarboxylase. GABA calms the nervous system by reducing neural firing. Medication for anxiety will often be benzodiazepines, because benzodiazepines work by enhancing the inhibitory behavior of GABA. Next is glutamate. Glutamate is the most common excitatory neurochemical in the central nervous system, used by as many as 90% of the synapses in the human brain. It is crucial for learning and memory through long-term potentiation, often referred to as LTP. Having too much glutamate is called excitotoxicity, which can kill neurons and is associated with strokes and seizures. The three ionotropic glutamate receptors are the NMDA receptor, the AMPA receptor, or AMPA receptor, and the kainate receptor. Both the AMPA receptor, which is the most common variety, and the kainate receptor operate by controlling a sodium channel. When these receptors bind molecules of glutamate, a sodium channel opens and an EPSP is produced. Next is acetylcholine. Acetylcholine, or ACH, is the first neurotransmitter ever discovered. It is vital for movement, learning, and memory. ACH is the primary neurotransmitter at the neuromuscular junction, the synapse between a neuron and a muscle fiber. It is also essential to the operation of the autonomic nervous system. A loss of ACH neurons is a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Last is norepinephrine. Norepinephrine is a neurotransmitter and a hormone involved in attention, arousal, and alertness, like our flight or fight responses. This neurotransmitter helps the brain respond to stress and stay vigilant. It is also involved in regulating blood pressure and is used as a medication to treat life-threatening low blood pressure during serious health situations. As a neurotransmitter, norepinephrine is made from dopamine. It is made from nerve cells in the brainstem area of the brain and in an area near your spinal cord and is part of the sympathetic nervous system. And by now, I'm sure you're wondering why neurotransmitters matter. Let me tell you. Neurotransmitters shape our behavior and mental health. Almost every psychological disorder involves neurotransmitter dysregulation. For example, depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, and ADHD. Medications work by targeting neurotransmitters. SSRIs target serotonin, stimulants target dopamine and norepinephrine, antipsychotics target dopamine receptors, and benzodiazepines target GABA. Overall, neurotransmitters influence everything we do, from studying for a test as glutamate strengthens synapses, to the anxious feeling you had before you took the test, which is norepinephrine, to the feeling you get when you find out you aced the test, dopamine. And this is why I love neurotransmitters.